Peter Bright, aka Dr. Pizza, was outed on Twitter for being a bad man. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, bringing you the obvious. And today on boingboing.net, Ars Technica writer Peter Bright, aka at Dr. Pizza, arrested for enticement of minor to engage in illegal sexual activity. There's really no way to paint this story in any sort of light, and I really don't think that I can substitute many words here. This guy, he was a prominent journalist and reporter, and, well, let's just say he was a bad man. Now, first of all, let's take a look at his face. See that? He's a redhead. He's sipping his obviously soy coffee from Starbucks. Or should I say, Starbucks. So take a look at this guy. Take a look at him. And then I'm going to show you a picture. In nature, predators often camouflage themselves from prey, like the copperhead or the trapdoor spider, and others hide in plain sight. So the real story is that this guy was a lollygagger. That is short for exactly that. And you know, the signs were there. It's amazing to me that this guy wasn't caught for this many years. Here, Dr. Pizza said, and we're going to go through some of his tweets because they're absolutely diabolical. So here he says, I am sweating like a pedo bear in a nursery school. NYC is damn sticky. Fozzie Joe Miasma says, aged like fine wine. This guy's on record as saying a bunch of really creepy, obvious stuff. I mean, he even calls himself Dr. Pizza. And as we all know, pizza is code word among these groups of sickos. Tom Warren says, I am shocked at Dr. Pizza is well known for his Microsoft reporting, and he's an accused predator. I feel physically sick that I've known this man for years, and this is what he's capable of. Scoop. So here's the story here. Claire Godforth says, successful tech blogger Peter Bright, Dr. Pizza, charged with soliciting deviant behaviors with a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old online. Complaint says he claimed to be in a deviant relationship with an 11-year-old. Now, normally when I read these stories, I always think, oh, you know what, it's probably like a teenage girl and they're not using the terms correctly. But no, this guy's a bona fide, absolutely sick person. He diddled the little. So, yeah, I don't even need to read much of the story because we're just going to go look through these tweets. Viewer discretion is advised. So this guy's a Pizzagate denier. He denied the whole thing that the elites actually do bad stuff. And make no mistake, maybe it was never one pizza parlor, but the elites absolutely have their gangs of abusers who hide in plain sight and do bad things all the time. Most likely they just go overseas, but no, it's very real, folks. Let's just look at some of his tweets. As someone named Dr. Pizza, I dread to think what my involvement in Pizzagate will turn out to be. And here we go. Here's his denying. And again, do you think Pizzagate is fake? Yes, like obviously. These effing people. You're tweeting to a Trumpist who believes in Pizzagate. Almost falling for Pizzagate is still pretty damning, FYI. Nothing perpetuates Pizzagate more than facts, nothing. Roses are red. Violets are blue. Except when they're teal. Some people think Pizzagate is real. First of all, that was a terrible poem. Like, when in the past, when I was an edgy boy, I liked to write poetry, and this is a crap poem. Now, as you can see, obviously, the pizza man, I think that's the word I'll use, the pizza man would obviously deny Pizzagate in any sort of story surrounding that. Of course they would. Because on the subconscious level, you know, like the Freudian slip. This guy, oh man, there's worse tweets than this. But here it says, tech reporter charged with soliciting underage deviancy online. So let's read a little bit from the report that talks about the horrible things he did, things he said himself. When you last teach a little girl, I don't want just anyone teaching them. I have a girl and I've been teaching off and on for a couple of months now, but she's in the Bronx, which makes the logistics much harder. As old as my princess? A bit older, 11. Oh, okay. Little bit. What are you good at teaching? We have started the basics with the girl. I think FAP attacks and butt intercourse are probably my favorite subjects. Helping girls find those special places to touch is very rewarding. You thought about what kind of lesson you would like to start with? Anything excite you? Really depends on their experience, but I'm thinking maybe something involving foreskin is a way to start. So as you can see, this guy's an absolute creep. He was talking about grooming kids, and he was caught by it was a classic sting. FBI comes in and they nail this guy. And this guy was so obviously, it was so obvious. We're going to go through more tweets, and it's so obvious that this guy is a child predator, but he got away with it for so long. That's what blows my mind. Look at this tweet, which really didn't age well. Naha says, wife's traveling. I had to stay home with our daughter. Dr. Pizza, Mr. Pizza Man says, how old is your daughter? Bro, that's a little creepy even for me. Okay, so there's a tweet by Donald Trump here. I'm going to take half of Chloe's candy tonight and give it to some kid who sat at home. It's never early to teach her about socialism. Good parenting 101. And Pizza Man replies, why don't you grab her by the puss and teach her about her grandfather? So that's an extremely creepy comment to make about anyone's daughter. And I gotta be honest, if he said it about my daughter, like if I had a daughter, oh, you believe me, that man would suffer. Dr. Pizza is also pro-infanticide. Why am I not surprised? I believe in the biblical standard for when life begins. Hence, abortion isn't murder and should be permitted at any stage of the pregnancy. Degenerates like you belong on a cross. So he believes that if a baby's 1 day from being born, you should be allowed to just rip it out of the womb. I'm getting mixed signals from this guy. Dr. Pizza says, if incels are so desperate to have sex, why don't they just have sex with each other? I actually sort of agree. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so this comment is absolute gold. We're going to read through it here. Dingo Battlestar says, furthermore, I see that you're queer and into pizza, which raises some questions. I would recommend not using established pedophile slang in crafting your online persona if you don't want to go around morally browbeating your betters. I'm sure it's a coincidence, though. Established pedophile slang. And here he is laughing. Yes, hiding in plain sight. He laughs. The degenerate laughs as he strikes you. Bingo Battlestar says, way to deflect. You can't denounce peds. It's not hard to do. Long before Pizzagate, which is about 99% idiocy, you're wrong. Cheese pizza has been used to refer to cheese pizza. And how does he reply? He attacks our local superhero, the most friendly and kind man on earth, Hacker 4chan. Yeah, on 4chan. Big effing deal. So this guy messed with 4chan, and it may have taken 4chan about a year, but 4chan nailed this guy. Everybody knows the FBI browses 4chan. Amy Schrebler says, I didn't realize age of consent is set at the state level. That's kind of messed up. Pumpkin Fried says, I think it highlights bituariness of age of consent as a concept, really. And frankly, you know what? I really can't argue with this statement because it is absolutely arbitrary. The norm for most of human history has been people start courting, in their mid-teens. That was the norm for the vast majority of society. And it's evolutionary, a supported concept. I'm not going to argue about this right now, but scientifically speaking, it's really not that crazy. But this guy clearly was on another level. Oh, so he was also a Gamergate denier. Dr. Pizza says, here's how you can tell that Gamergate was not about ethics and games journalism. Their reaction to supposedly corrupt coverage by compromised journalists was not to make an evidence-backed case against the journalists, but to go after the developer the journalist was covering. So, he completely denies Pizzagate. You can see the kind of scumbag this guy really is. And another tweet that did not age well. Here's some Japanese hentai. Sounds like a good time. And Ed Zetron says, dare you to open the hentai box. No. I'm not a ped. Oh. That aged well. And there's also a bunch of tweets of him talking about jailbait. So you kind of get the picture here. Here you can see jailbait everywhere. And yet my bro is old woman. There's no justice. I feel your pain. No, I'm just fucking with you guys. I know it's a bad time to be making jokes. Pumpkin Fright says, there is an astonishing amount of jailbait on this flight. Looks like some school orchestra are similar. Admiring jailbait on the train. Roar. Ugh, God. Yeah, this guy makes me sick. It really is insane. These are from 2009. Joel Goldenberg says, the real-life version of foreshadowing. Dan Ridoff says, he goes by Dr. Pizza. You should not be shocked in the least bit. So, basically, this guy is, he's screwed. Carolina says, I am sick to my stomach. My daughter is 11. I cannot even. Glad he was denied bail. Yeah, so this guy is screwed. He's absolutely nailed. Absolutely. Like, it's over. He may as well end it all now because he won't survive prison. And isn't it crazy how he looks exactly like the picture? It's like a mirror image. The beard, the balding head, the creepy face. There we go. Look at him. Actually, I pretty much told you guys a story. I mean, I'm looking at this article here, and there's really nothing more but specific details. A federal complaint alleges that Bright sought to molest a 7- and 9-year-old. God damn, the world has gone insane. And met with an undercover agent for this purpose, at which point he was arrested. It also states that Bright claimed to be in a deviant relationship with an 11-year-old. He is currently being held without bail. According to the complaint filed in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, an undercover FBI agent made contact with Bright on Kink D, a social fetish platform, on April 18. See, that was your mistake right there. You always have to assume that everyone online is, like, not who they say they are. So if you think you're talking to like a 24-year-old female, assume that she's an FBI agent claiming to be 12 who's actually 40 and balding. Trust me, the internet is not a safe place. Bright, using the handle Random Menon, had responded to a message agent posted a day prior in which she purported to be a mother seeking to connect with people who could teach her children about the birds and the bees. Oh my God. First of all, how do you fall for that? Second of all, Jesus Christ. I mean, did he really believe it? I guess he did. That's why he's in jail. I think this guy's gonna learn about the birds and the bees in the prisons. I think this dude has a wife. That's the worst part of all this. Oh, okay, so, here's where he really screwed up. The complaint states that in subsequent messages, the agent informed Bright that she had a 7-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old son. At Bright's urging, the two of them began chatting via WhatsApp, which continued for weeks. And yeah, a lot of these predators will use these different apps and services. I know for a fact that Twitter is actually terrible stuff goes on at Twitter. I can't prove it, so I can't make a video about it. But I used to know someone who was really good with tech that was able to track down an entire cheese trading operation out of Japan. No surprise there. I can't prove it, but you know, it's as much as I hate Twitter and I would like to see them suffer. You know, it's not just Twitter. It's pretty much any social media website you have. There's always going to be that dark pocket. Always. It's practically inevitable. Which continued for a few weeks. At times using euphemisms, Bright reportedly wrote of touching both children inappropriately and struggle snuggling the 7-year-old. Really doesn't get worse than this. He also allegedly sent pictures of his male appendage. Yeah, and the photos of test results showing he did not have any STDs. So this guy really, he's dead. He's dead. Yeah, he's screwed. You messed up, buddy. According to the complaint, both consistently referred to his plans to inappropriately touch the children as teaching them lessons, and Bright described how he would begin slowly and move on to more intense activity. Okay, bad stuff follows. What do you mean? This whole thing has been bad. So Bright was arrested on May 22nd when he arrived from the planned rendezvous in Manhattan. Per the complaint, he admitted to speaking with the agent about engaging in deviant behavior with minors. Bright has been charged with 1 count of an attempt of enticement of a minor to engage in sexual activity. I gotta be honest, I really don't think that's enough. I mean, I understand the whole point of not overcharging someone, but this guy clearly has some skeletons in his closet. He has been denied bail on the grounds of risk of danger. I think he's more in danger in prison, but okay. The order allows him to reapply for bail. The federal inmate database states that Peter Bright, age 38, is currently being held in Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan. So this guy got nailed. Justice prevails, my friends. Seriously, I really don't get it. How can you not like older women, you know? How can you not like the classical MILF? Giant jumbo jongas stuffed on your face while you nurse and drink the succulent water of the goddesses with big hips and thighs. I just don't understand it. But yeah, this is a really crazy story. I'll leave a link to his Twitter account if you want to take a look. I mean, a bunch of people are talking about him. But yeah, that's pretty much the story, folks. This guy, hiding in plain. I think the main lesson here that I want everyone to take is that all of these male feminists and all of these anti-Trumpers and all of these far-left nut jobs, a lot of them are deranged, sick individuals, and they're hiding in plain sight. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? What do you think about Dr. Pizza finally getting what he deserves? Be sure to let me know. Now, if you like the content that I make, you can support the work I do by joining me on Patreon, Subscribestar, or donating via PayPal. As always, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.